You with your other phone.
Okay, that should be live. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages. Hello, everyone. Right, so we're just going to get set up. You need to get a bit further down in there to wave.
Oh, hello.
Well, yeah, there we go. Nice shot of your legs. All right, so let's tweet this out and then we can kick things off. At least that's the plan. You're missing nothing so far, YouTube. Don't worry. So, if I pop onto YouTube, I should be able to find the URL. If you're watching from YouTube, why can't it auto-tweet when I go live? This feels like an oversight.
Oh, where's my tea? Oh, there's my tea.
Right, I've just tweeted you out that link. I have no idea whether this will work or not. That's the joy of live TV. Okay, so right, if you want to take a seat over there, I shall sit over here.
School.
Let's see how this works. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Jess and @Edent build a Raspberry Pi powered fart button. I think we're going to move the camera now. Hello. Welcome to the workshop. So it's just me over here and Jess behind the camera. Spin it around, Jess.
Hey.
And then in the corner,
Hello.
We've got our good buddy Darth Vader, the Dark Lord of the Sith, who's going to be helping us out with some of the build stuff. So the general idea behind this is we are going to follow a simple Raspberry Pi tutorial that you'll find on the Raspberry Pi Foundation's website. Maybe alter it just a little bit and see how easy it is to do. Or hard it is to do.
But what is it we're making?
So we are making possibly the finest piece of electronics known to man, a fart button. So the idea here is that you press a button, this one here, and a fart noise will come out of some speakers.
So we could maybe call this, it's going to be a connected device. There's going to be the internet involved at some point?
I think this will be an internet-connected fart button. Yes, that's quite right, Jess.
Internet of farts.
Internet farts. And you'll be able to generate fart noises wherever you are in the world. And I think, in a very real sense, isn't that going to make the world a better place?
It's like social media writ small.
Indeed. Right. Okay. Let's get this show on the road. So let's just make sure that we've got the Pi in shot, and that we're all doing very well.
So before we get started, what are all the things we're playing with today?
So this here is a Raspberry Pi. It's I can't remember which model it is. I think it's a Model 2, might be a Model... It doesn't really matter. Literally any Raspberry Pi will do. It's just in a basic plastic case.
And for those of you watching who haven't played with Pis or haven't done a lot with hardware, the Raspberry Pi is a little tiny sort of microcomputer.
Yeah.
It's inexpensive. For those of you using British money units, it's 20 or 30 British monies.
Yeah, I mean, you can pick them up really cheap. There's a little one called the Raspberry Pi Zero, which I have somewhere, but it's so small I've lost it in my house. But that's nominally £5. These ones are, I think, £15. But if you want to buy a case and some ribbon cables and bits and pieces, you can spend as much as you like, really. But about 30 quid, you'll get a Pi and all the different bits and bobs.
Cool. And then we've got, you mentioned we've got a ribbon cable.
So, let me just pull out this here. So the Raspberry Pi comes with what's called GPIO pins. So you can just see there are these little pins which are sticking out of the Pi, and you can plug stuff into them to make it do stuff. So you can put data into the Pi and get electricity out, all good fun, but they're quite fiddly. So this is a ribbon cable. This is an inexpensive bit of cable, which when I plug in there, let's just make sure I'm doing this the right way around and it's all lined up. No, I've misaligned that. That's a great start. So that just carries all those pins out to here, and this is what's called a cobbler. So this takes all the pins and it puts them out onto a nice labelled board. So you might be able to see there we've got ground, we've got a 5-volt rail there and a 3-volt rail there, and then various I/O pins which we can do stuff with. And what I've done is I've pre-wired in a button just into the breadboard, but that's not yet connected into the cobbler, so we shall do that in a bit. Do excuse, there's all sorts of other bits and pieces lying around here. So there's some traffic lights, which I think I got this off Dr. Lucy Rogers, I believe. Hello, Dr. Lucy, if you're watching. Right.
Let's go ahead and get started. Let me make sure we've got the tutorial on hand.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is connect to the Pi. So at the moment, this has just got a it's just a Wi-Fi stuck in there. That's connected to my home Wi-Fi. This laptop is connected to the Wi-Fi. So we're going to SSH in. That's we're going to create a secure connection between the laptop and the Pi. And that's it's dead easy. So you should be able to see there. SSH, the username, which is Pi, and then the IP address that this is connected to.
If you don't know the IP address of your Pi, go ahead and Google for it. How do I find the user?
It can be a little, it can be a little tricky. The thing that I use is if you've got an Android phone, for example, there's a whole bunch of apps. This is my favourite one, which is called Wi-Fi Analyzer, and this just says everything which is on your network. So I can see here that the IP address of the Pi is 192.168.1.7.
That is way more helpful than my just Google it.
Now you see, here's something that's annoying, is that there's no focus on the YouTube app, so I'm just going to have to hold this at such an angle that you can see what's on the screen.
And we're also going to include all the links to the Pi project and the tutorial. We'll include the links to your favorite Wi-Fi analyzer in the show notes, I think.
That's the plan.
You look real convinced.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, so going to connect now. Joy, you do the honours.
Yeah.
So what's the password? Well, the default password that comes with the Raspberry Pi is, whisper it, raspberry.
Raspberry.
So I would highly encourage you to change that if you're doing anything serious, but just for a quick project like this, it's fine. So if I type raspberry in, woohoo, we are connected. So that's great. Right, we're done basically, aren't we? Anything else we need to do?
I feel like this making farts would be...
Making farts would probably be a good plan. So, let's grab the tutorial.
Fantastic. So we're going to be working from this tutorial on the Raspberry Pi website. You can find some really, really fantastic projects, and all of those are under projects.raspberrypi.org. And we're going to be doing this one mostly because we really, really liked the graphic here. This is a tutorial aimed at children, so should be right about on our level.
It's a fart button. You know, it's actually they call it whoopee cushion.
Yeah, but
I think, which is
it advertises that it can make a loud parp noise.
Parp.
They've been very careful not to say fart on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not the boss of us.
So the equipment that they say that we're going to need for building this is some crocodile clip cables, some which I don't have, so we're just going to jerry rig them. Some male to female jumper leads. I think we've got some of those somewhere, and some speakers. And we're going to be using some headphones. So the nice thing about all this Raspberry Pi stuff, headphones. There we go.
Hey.
Some headphones. Is that it doesn't matter if you don't have like the best equipment in the world, you know. So this thing here, you know, it wants you to have some speakers, but if you've got an old pair of headphones, that'll do. You know, it doesn't need to be brilliant, doesn't need to be perfect. So let's go and this thing here says connect the whoopee cushion to the Pi. So all we're going to be doing is shorting out two things. So we want one wire going to ground and another to GPIO2. So on the cobbler, you should be able to see that some of these are marked ground and some of these have got numbers on. So I'm going to let Jess handle the electricity because she's a lot braver than I am.
Are the little short ones okay?
Yeah, and any size is fine. So if you find which one is ground along there and then put it in the hole just above, that should be fine. That look all right. Let's just see. Yeah, why not?
I feel all right with
I
that.
mean, if it doesn't work,
What's
it
the worst
doesn't
that
work,
can
you know.
happen?
It's not going to explode. I mean, it's really hard to damage Raspberry Pi. You can damage a Raspberry Pi, but it's, you know, it's kind of hard.
If you're following a lot at home and you do manage to damage your Raspberry Pi, when can people email you angry threats?
You can email idon'tcare@goaway.com. So let's also grab another wire and let's plug that into GPIO2. So they should see on here a number 2 somewhere. I see ground 26, 17. Yeah. You know what? Doesn't really matter. I don't know where number 2 is. Just pick a number and we'll change it in the code later. As long as we remember which number it is.
How do we feel about 6?
6. 6 is good. So, so we have plugged 2 wires in, one into 6 and one into ground. That's fine. Crocodile clips, no, can't be bothered with that. Right. Test the sound. Right. So we're going to have to connect the speaker to the Raspberry Pi using the sound jack port. So we're just, well, Jess, if you want to plug, so somewhere on here, so you get an HDMI port, you get power, and I think
It's
just
right here,
down on
isn't
that
it?
side, yeah, there's wow. You can, I'm just going to hold this close to the microphone, which I think is here. You can hear a hum there.
Is that one making noise or is
This one's making noise. Is that one making noise?
this one's making noise?
Both of them making noise. So this is just because it's a cheap power supply and cheap headphones. You're just getting a little bit of power bleed through on there. Let's just... there we go. Just didn't plug it all the way in. Jess! And we have Rafael Mora online. Hey, Rafael! I hope I am rolling my R's right for you. So, let's follow this tutorial. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a directory for the sound noise that we're going to make.
And when you say make a directory, for folks who haven't been using the terminal or don't do a lot of programming, it's the same thing as making a folder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm make, so mukdir is make directory, and we're going to call that fart.
You're a child.
I am. Now we want to move into it, so we're going to change directory. So that's cd fart. Yep, I mean there it says there. Right.
Fart.
That's good. The next thing we do, so the tutorial tells us that we're going to download the noise from the Raspberry Pi website. So we use a program called wget, webget, and the URL is http://rpf for Raspberry Pi Foundation, not Raspberry Pi Fart.io/ and they just call it burp, which is a bit weird.
It's the... Never mind.
I'm going to call it fart. I don't care. So as we download it, we need to rename it. So the output name is going to be fart.wav.
Old school.
And it does all sorts of stuff, and it starts downloading, and then this will depend on how quick your internet connection is. But yeah, there we go.
If you don't use the terminal a lot, my advice is always to ignore 90% of
Oh
it.
yeah, people.
This you don't need.
No,
this.
people who write terminal programs, they love just writing all of this stuff, and all you want to know is, did it work? Did it not work? It worked. So the first thing is, right, Jess, if you can just hold up that speaker to the microphone.
Oh yes,
right,
quite.
So if I type in aplay, which is just the Raspberry Pi's media player, and then fart.wav, hopefully we should have some sound coming out of here. Did you hear that? I'm going to just try that again. So if I push up, I can replay the last command, and
It's the quietest fart noise
It's the
ever.
quietest little fart noise, but it's coming out of these little... I mean, these are some cheap speakers which I got free with an MP3 player, which I think cost £2.50. So, I'm not expecting miracles from this.
So we've got a couple questions as we're going. Raphael is asking about the Pi model. We think it's a Raspberry Pi 2, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's it will work with any Raspberry Pi. And we've also said, does it just use Python or is it possible to use another language? Now that's really interesting. So most of the tutorials that you'll find are for Python, just because... Oh, hang on, we're seeing me again. I think it'd be better looking at Darth Vader rather than me.
Sorry.
Most of the tutorials that you find will use Python just because it's a really easy language for beginners, but you could also use Scratch to play this. You could also use C++ if you wanted to. I guess you could probably use, anything. I'm just going to tack this up so that we can see Jess
Elliot
there.
was asking a fantastic question of if there's an open source sound bank for fart noises. And that question absolutely made my week. I know that there are open source sound banks and open source sources for sounds online. I'm not sure if there must be farts in there. And
so Elliot, if you're listening, we need you to go to your favourite search engine, type in open source farts, and report back with...
No, give me a second. I'll just register the domain name.
opensourcefarts.io. Brilliant.
.org.
.org, yes. Vital work here. Right, okay, so we now have... I'm just going to reposition this camera so we can see what we're doing.
So to answer your question, there must be open source fart noises. We'll find them in a minute.
So... We've got two things going on here. We can now play a fart noise from the from the console. So if you can hear this, just leave us a message. And we've got some wires sticking in here. What we now need is some Python, which is going to hook them all together. So let's do some Python, right? Now, if you're connected up directly to the Raspberry Pis and you've put a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse, you can do this in a GUI. You can use your mouse and everything. We're just connected over Wi-Fi in an SSH session, so we're going to be doing this on the terminal. So.
And if you're trying to follow along with us at home, this is probably going to be really challenging.
Right. So, no, we believe in you.
But if you're following along with the tutorial online and you hit any problems, the Raspberry Pi community online is so helpful and wonderful.
They are so friendly. Right, so we're going to be running Python 3. Other versions of Python are available, but 3 is more or less the most recent. So, okay, so we're in Python. First thing we need to do is import some of the standard Python libraries. So, import OS. That enables you to do stuff with the operating system. Nice and easy. Good, that worked. This also wants random according to the code, so import random. This will allow us to generate random numbers, which is great. Now, we also need we don't want to always listen for when these are connected. So let's take a look at from time, import sleep. Oh God, I wish I could import sleep in real life. Wouldn't that be amazing? And then finally, from GPIO0, import button. And this is just a standard library which allows you to interact with these GPIO ports here. Import error, no module name GPIO0. Have I misspelled that? No. Why does that not work? So now you're experiencing what it's like to be a real programmer when you type in something and it just goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Do we have from GPIO0? I'm spelling that right. Import button. I'm spelling that right. Right. I am going to need to
Google.
Jess, you're using your Mac and I don't understand how it works.
What? Did you open a new tab?
I opened a new tab. There we go. Right, so you press on a Mac Control and D, not Command and D. What was I thinking? I'm an idiot. To exit out of Python. So why don't I have GPIO0? I bet this is something that I need to install manually. I'm just going to do a search on here while Jess searches the internet. So apt cache. So this searches all of the programs that are available to download. Search GPIO0.
And I have found a fun fact that this GPIO0 was actually made by Ben Nuttall, who's an absolute sweetheart.
Oh, cheers, Ben. Oh,
Thanks, Ben.
man, you're the best.
I mean, thanks, Ben, but what the hell, Ben?
Yeah, come on, Ben. Right, so I need to install this manually. So sudo apt get install Python 3 GPIO 0. So that's the name that it came up when I did the software search. So press enter. It's going to download it, and let's just see. We've had another question. So someone has said, pip install GPIO 0.
Where were you 5 minutes ago, Simon?
Yeah, in fact, that's what, because that said it doesn't understand that.
What I mean is, thank you, Simon.
So pip 3 install GPIO 0. If this works, Simon.
Can we do a live stream where we just do this, drink cider, and then people steer for us via the comments?
Import name incomplete read. What the juice is going on here? I don't understand any of this.
Oh, everything's terrible.
You know what? I misspelt it when I typed in. I'm such an idiot. So Jess, you wanted to talk about imposter syndrome. Look at this. I'm on the internet telling people how to do things with Raspberry Pi. I can't even type properly.
Yeah, but 90% of my programming issues are me screaming at something for 3 hours and then noticing that... Yeah. You'd be like, I before E.
Yeah, there should be a semicolon at the end. No. And someone else has mentioned that you can install ToSay, which is a text-to-speech library, I think. So we can make it say stuff. Actually, do I have ToSay installed on here? No, I don't. Right, let's see if that has fixed my woes. So let's go. The nice thing about Linux, you just press up, get to the last command that you were using. Right, so Python 3.
Hey.
There we go. Right, import OS.
Yes.
Good. Import random. Good. Yeah. Import sleep. Yeah. Right, here we go. From GPI 0, import button. Yay!
Yeah!
Oh, you always feel like a hero when you're doing that. Right, okay. So we're going to need a button, and that it's on pin 2. Now, we changed pin.
It's on pin 6 because...
Right. We couldn't find button. We couldn't find...
I'm sure pin 2 exists. I
don't think it does. I think it's a conspiracy. Right.
I wasn't that emotionally invested in pin 6.
Okay,
pin 2.
Right. So, Elliot's come back. Soundable has free fart noises with clear license specification, but none of them are really realistic. Well, Elliot, you're going to have to record your own fart noises.
Or, at some point, we will make an effort to make some fart noises.
Right.
Elliot, when you say not very realistic, I'd love to know what exactly those criticisms are. But I feel like we'll do some investigation on our own as well.
Right, so we now need to create a list of all the different fart noises that we've got. We've only got one, but we'll just say, so farts is going to be an array. An array is just like a list of things. It's a Mac and the...
What do you need?
I need funny quotes, and they're not there because Mac's... Right.
You could have used your computer. You were just no, yours has better stickers.
Can't even see the stickers. Right. So there's an array of all of the fart effects that we have, which is just one.
And if we do a follow-up and fill this in with our artisanal, handcrafted, produced fart noises, which we will open source, of course, we would just add more with commas separating them.
So, now we're going to want to have wait for the button to be pressed. So, this is going to be button. Let's access a function of it, which is wait for press. Okay. Oh, no, sorry, we're going to want that inside a loop. Really helps if I read the instructions. Right, so...
Elliot says he suspects that most of the less than wonderful fart noises were produced by mouth. So accuracy is really the issue here.
Right, well, please do not stick microphones anywhere where they shouldn't be stuck. Right, so we're creating a loop. So while true, so this is always going to run. Button dot wait for press. And then what we're going to do is we are going to play the sound effect when it's pressed. So OS, so here's stuff from the operating system, and then we're just going to pass it the command that we were playing with earlier, which is aplay, fart.wav. I'm not going to bother calling it because we've only got one thing in the array there. Just ignore all that. Right. Someone's has fireworks outside. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know why. It's bright sunshine.
I was going to say, for those of you who aren't in Oxford today, it is 1 o'clock and sunny.
And we're just going to put a little sleep here. So the problem here is if we said we're waiting for this to be true, when the button is pressed, play that. If the button is pressed, it's just going to keep going round and round and play the noise over and over again. So what we're going to want to do is add a sleep too. So that's just going to sleep for 2 seconds after it's played it. There we go. So it's now waiting for this button to be pressed. So Jess, if you short those wires, so just take the 2 leads and put them together. Let's see if that works. And nothing is happening. So what have we done here?
Have we forgotten to switch this to number 6?
Let's just take a look. Oh, I did. You said button 6 and I've typed in button 2.
That's okay.
Do we have a button 2 there? I mean, let's see if we can find button number 2. I'm sure this makes for riveting viewing. Ground 27, 26.
Is it here? Is this 2?
No, it'll be... you know what? Stick it back in 6. I'll
Yeah,
just redo
yeah.
the code. Why not? Control D. Right, there we go. Let's set up that button again. So button 6.
Yeah.
Good. Right, now the nice thing is I don't have to retype everything. I can just press up and put everything in. Wait for the button press. The button pressed is fart and then sleep and then nothing and then okay. Let's try this now. Oh, did you hear that?
Yes. Can y'all hear the fart noise?
Yes. Oh, keep it. So every time Jess presses that button, do it again. Do it again. It makes a fart noise. We're having some extended discussion here about whether it's
So Creative Commons
license. The sound file is the source. Isn't every Creative Commons sound open source? Well, yes.
This is super cool. Is there like a debate on the comments about
I think so. So let's just press the button again. Just every time Jess presses the button, well, she shorts this thing. It makes a fart noise. Now, all you need now is a louder speaker than this sort of cheap and nasty headphone.
and higher quality artisanal fart sounds.
Higher quality artisanal fart sounds. And you can now wire these up to anything that you want. So, I say anything, don't wire it up to people. So, you need to... you put 2 big baffles on here and then stick them under a chair. And then whenever they touch, you get a noise played. And I think
That's it.
That's it. We have followed this tutorial. It has taken us the best part of half an hour.
So what do you think? Hang on. Let's get humans in the shot.
Well, no, let's just move it. Hang on. I need to... This camera rig is too complicated for me. So, Darth Vader, what did you think of that?
I found your lack of farts disturbing.
Thank you, Darth.
You're a child.
I am. I really am.
That absolutely terrifying Darth Vader costume. Is that the one you got married in?
I did get married in that costume.
There's like a whole big wall of adorable, cute stuff. Not to me. No.
No.
But yeah, so far, what do you think about this? Like, out of 10 for this tutorial?
You know what? It was pretty easy. There's some confusing bits in there because it talks about multiple fart sounds and it only tells you to download one. I couldn't find number 2. I'm just going to bring this closer. I couldn't find, and maybe it's the cobbler that I've got, but I couldn't find GPIO 2 on here. I don't know. Am I special? I see 5, 6, 4. Oh man, it makes me feel really stupid. But
well, it's not just that.
We no, many things make me feel stupid. But we got through it. So I think we've now done half an hour.
What do you think? Out of 10?
I think I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
All right, thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you for leaving comments, and thank you for all the discussion on fart noises. I've been Terence Eden. That's been...
Oh, hi, I'm Jess Rose. Oh, bye, I'm Jess Rose.
And we'll see you next time. Hit the big stop button, the bigger stop button.
Yeah,
that
but...
one.